You can see yourself inside of a sphere. And say you're in this sphere and you can look out and you can only see a third into this sphere. And so what you do is you start putting all these labels all around on the inside of this third of the sphere. And you think, okay, this is that, this is true, 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 I feel comfortable. And then what happens is the sphere goes out a little bit more. And now you have this new space without labels. So you go, uh-oh, so you move this label out in the same position into the next section of space. So you keep pushing these same labels out on top of new experience and new consciousness. Thus, you're not experiencing the newness. You're overlaying your idea of what you think is truth on top of that next section of consciousness. And then you don't experience experience. So how do you experience it? You take off that label. Try an example, a very simple test. A lot of people, I've realized, have employed this upon their experimentation of consciousness within themselves and awakening. Find any object around you. It can be an animal, a plant, a chair, a tree, but let it not be moving or have too much distraction involved with it. Now close your eyes. Become aware of your breath. Center yourself. Now open your eyes and look at that object. Now the moment you start to say, let's say for instance it's a chair. The moment you hear yourself in your mind say chair, bring your awareness back to your breath. But keep looking at the chair. Now you'll find a little bit of space right there. And now you might say garage sale, you got it at a garage sale. Or you might say the pattern or colors or design. Anything might come up. You'll be flooded with the associations with that chair. It's mesmerizing to see how much we have associated with one object. Keep looking at that object, and every time a definition or a belief about that object comes up, bring your awareness back to your breath, because this clears your mind. Because the breath is now. The mind is yesterday and tomorrow. And what you'll experience is a disorientation. You'll feel uncomfortable because you'll realize you've been anchoring yourself into all those definitions for that object you're looking at. And if you practice this, that disorientation, that's freedom, that's space. And that object becomes more dynamic, more colorful, more textures. It becomes more because you're not limiting it through your filtered definitions. That's experience. That's one of the mysterious meanings of all roads lead to God or to heaven. Because everything is grounded in being. Everything has a root. And then it comes up through all these layers of creation and codes and becomes what we think it is in this dimension. But through your observation, you can observe it layer through layer through layer through layer through layer until you have that understanding, you have that connection with the intelligent consciousness, the God, the whatever name we give it, whatever label we need to give it so we feel grounded in it, that infinite love. You connect to it. That's why somebody can go and live in the woods and find God. Somebody can go to a holy person and find God. Somebody can have an animal and through that connection, or when somebody's dying they find God. It's because they have momentarily experienced beyond all of the definitions and all of the filters and all the labels and all the expectations. And when you do, and you experience that life, that fullness, that's experience, and you take that with you in the world. And then everywhere you go, you're like a paintbrush, painting color onto black and white. So, work with that simple experiment. And you can do it on people, you can do it on the grass, You can do it in your own reflection in the mirror. That's fun. Watching yourself disappear, falling into yourself, loving yourself because you know that you are love. Every one of us is love. Every one of us contains that truth. And how we find our peace and harmony during this relative moment of experience is experiencing each other without the labels, without the definitions, without the filters. Because truly, we're just projecting all of these things around in the world so we feel comfortable. But we have evolved consciously now over 14 billion years to get to this point. We are here. We can be together. We are together. Namaste.